Hello again. We are back with What on Earth Am I Here For? Day 38. Becoming a world-class Christian. A world-class Christian, okay? In one of the lessons a couple days ago, we talked about the Great Commission found in Matthew, right? And tells us to go to the whole entire world and preach the gospel. And the Great Commission is your commission. It's my commission. If you're a Christian, it is something you are, told to do. You have a choice to make. Your book says you will either be a world-class Christian or a worldly Christian. Okay, so what is a world-class Christian or a worldly Christian? Well, worldly Christians primarily look to God for personal fulfillment. Their prayers are reflect that. They're saved, but they're very self-centered. Their prayer focuses on their own needs. Lord, I'm struggling right now. Please help me. Lord, I don't feel great. Can you help me? Lord, I'm in trouble. You need to help me get out of this circumstance. It's a me first kind of faith, okay? Then you have, as your book describes them, world-class Christians. They are saved to serve and made for a mission. They're eager to receive a personal assignment from God. They're excited about the privilege of being used by God. And their joy, their confidence, and their enthusiasm are contagious. They are looking to help other people, to serve other people, and their thoughts about themselves are very limited, okay? So how do we learn to think like a world-class Christian? Well, first we have to shift from a self-centered thinking to others-centered thinking, and that can be challenging. Philippians 2:4 says, don't think only about your own affairs, but be interested in others too. Of course, this is a difficult mental shift because we're naturally self-absorbed and almost all advertising encourages us to think of ourselves. It's definitely a me-first world. The only way we can make this paradigm switch is by a moment-by-moment dependence on God. We have to give it to God. We have to pray and say, Lord, help me to become more like you and think about others. Okay? Begin asking the Holy Spirit to help you to think of the spiritual need of unbelievers wherever and whenever you're talking to them. That's a good first step. We also have to shift from local thinking to global thinking. We have to think outside our own little bubble, our own little world that we live in. And especially if we are living, and not a bad thing, but primarily in a Christian bubble. If you're attending a Christian school, you're going to church regularly, you're contained in the Christian bubble, if you will. And we have to think outside of that. We have to think outside our own little world. We have to think outside our own state. We have to think outside our own country. And we need to think globally. Why? Well, John 3:16 is the best example I can give you because it says, for God so loved the world. He didn't love Florida. He didn't love Tennessee. Not only. He didn't love America. He loved the whole entire world, okay? So God is a global God, and we need to be thinking globally. One way to start thinking globally is to begin praying for specific countries. Maybe it's somewhere you're going to travel, and you want to just start praying for them because you're thinking about it. You're excited about going to travel there. You see the sights and things. That's okay. You can combine the two. Maybe it's something that you've seen. Maybe you have a friend from a place and you want to pray for their country or where they're from. Maybe it's stuff you see in the news. We see Ukraine and the war going on over there all the time in the news right now. So maybe you want to pray for Ukraine. There's not a wrong or a right answer. Just start thinking globally and start praying for specific countries. Prayer is the most important tool for your mission in the world. People may refuse our love or reject our message, but they are defenseless against our prayers, okay? You don't even have to tell them you're praying for them. They don't even have to know that you're praying for them, but your prayers can cause them to be able to see God, okay? So some of the things we need to pray for, or we should be praying for, is opportunities to witness. And then when we get those opportunities, we need to have prayed and continue to pray that we have the courage to actually speak up and utilize those opportunities. And we need to pray for those who will believe. The best way to switch to global thinking is to just get up and go on a short-term mission project to another country. Now, that may not be possible for all of us, but if it is, I highly encourage you to do so, okay? If you have that opportunity, take it, even if it's not to another country, even if it's just to a part of America outside of your state, or somewhere outside of the place where you live. Take the opportunity to go on this mission trip and do something outside of your comfort zone, outside of your bubble, to tell people about Jesus. We also have to shift from the here and now thinking, right, to eternal thinking. What's happening today? What's happening tomorrow that I have to worry about? And start thinking global and eternal. Okay? And to do this, to make the most of your time on earth, you must maintain an eternal perspective. This will keep you from majoring on minor issues and help you distinguish between what's urgent and what's ultimate. Okay? So much of what we waste our energy on will not matter even a year from now, much less for eternity. And the older you get, the more you start to realize this, and start to realize that stuff I worried about last year didn't matter. That stuff that I worried about 10 years ago, I don't even remember why I was worried about that, or even what it was, okay? So just remember, so much of what we waste our energy on will not matter even a year from now, much less for eternity. Jesus told us to store up our treasures in heaven, okay? We also must shift from thinking of excuses to thinking of creative ways to fulfill our commission, okay? We can all come up with excuses for why we don't do things and not do things, right? Some common excuses: I only speak English. I can't actually go on that trip to that other country. I can't, millions of people, whatever. It's okay. You can still do those things, okay? Another excuse is I don't have anything to offer. Yes, you do. Every ability and experience in your shape can be used somewhere. You just might not see it, but God can use it. I'm too old, or I'm too young. Those are lies of the devil, okay? Most agencies have age-appropriate short-term projects, okay? It's things that you can do. Whether it was Sarah claiming she was too old to be used by God, or Jeremiah claiming he was too young, God rejected their excuses. Don't say that, the Lord replied, for you must go wherever I send you and say whatever I tell you. And don't be afraid of the people, for I will be with you and take care of you. We just have to trust God to be able to use us in spite of whatever we think our shortcomings are, okay? In conclusion, I want us to say this, okay? If you want to be like Jesus, you must have a heart for the whole world. You can't be satisfied with just your family and friends coming to Christ. There are over 6 billion people on earth, and Jesus wants all his lost children found. Jesus said, only those who throw away their lives for my sake and for the sake of the good news will ever know what it means to really live. The Great Commission is your commission, and doing your part is the secret to living a life full of significance. Thanks.